I'm gonna talk about the Honda hrx217 in this video, because what happens is a lot of times I find where people have complaints about these transmission, the power takeoff transmission. These things were designed to last about 5 years on the original fluid. After the 5 years, it starts to slow down and it's not really gonna work. The reason is the fluid breaks down. And when it breaks down, it becomes too thin to operate the power takeoff. This one works. I just keep an extra one every time. Every time I buy something used, I buy an extra part. These are designed to last about 5 years, about once a week cutting on a residential purpose, once a week, and on about a quarter acre. Then that's how you get the 5 years out of it. But if you use it more frequently, as in a professional situation where you're cutting 3 and 4 yards a day, you're going to wear out the fluid, and it gets slower and slower and slower to the point where it will not work. What I did was, I thought I was going to be spectacular and use, I'm going to use the transmission fluid for this transmission. And what I noticed when I did that, it would move, but it wouldn't move fast, because for whatever reason it wasn't getting the pressures inside of here. With the piston driven transmission, it wasn't getting the pressures needed to operate at maximum temperature, at maximum effort. So I decided, hey, then this has to work even better, because this is 100% synthetic. It holds its strength well under heat, and it's gonna be the thing to use. Well, what I found when I used this, it was shedding the heat so well that it stayed down around the 5 weight. So it wasn't thick enough for the compression of the piston inside the power takeoff to actually operate properly. It would go real slow when it's cold, and then when it builds up and get somewhat heat, it'll speed up, but then it cools down, then it slows down. Well, then I just finally went on ahead and purchased the original fluid, because I figured if I got 5-10 years out of the original fluid, then the original fluid would be the best thing. I replaced it with the original fluid, and it runs. I have to run behind it. So I would suggest that if you have a problem with the transmission, replace it with the original fluid. I'm gonna post replace the original fluid to get it back in optimal position. And if you're using this thing in the commercial purposes, I would recommend replacing it once a year so that it stays optimal and you don't wear out your transmission. All right, I'm gonna post it because I'm gonna post it because I'm gonna have the number. All right, next thing, I replaced my engine oil with the synthetic. The beautiful thing about this is when you're using regular engine oil, it breaks down after about maybe 5 yards you cut. You start noticing that it's a black color. That means it done broke down, because it's residing in all of this engine heat. It's breaking the oil down because it's air cooled. But when you go and use the synthetic, 100% synthetic, not this full synthetic stuff. You don't want full synthetic, you want 100% synthetic. It maintains and manages the heat real well. This stuff is so good. I use this in my weed eater and my blower, the 2-cycle. I just continue to mix it in this bottle here. Every time it gets down low, I just pour some in here because it gives me the accurate measurement. I mix this 2.6 ounces to a gallon of Supreme grade gasoline, and it makes my 2 cycles run beautiful. They are very efficient. The reason I drilled the hole on here and put the string here is because when I'm using it, a lot of times I get grasses where the grass is thick and it'll clog up. If you just use the regular old, if you just use it regular, it'll clog up and you have to redo, clean it out and stuff. But when I put that on there and lift it up, it runs a whole lot better. So that's what I'm explaining to you about the transmission. That's what you need to know about the transmission. Go with the factory original, and that's the only way you're gonna get optimal performance out of it.